Hello everyone, welcome back to Crafts by the Bow. Today I'm using one of my favourite sets from the new mini catalogue, which is the Painted Poppies set. And I'm going to make a double Z-fold card. A Z-fold card is a really easy card to make. It's just a piece of card cut lengthways in half, scored down the middle and then scored down the middle again. And when you have that made, you can see it forms a Z. And a double Z fold is just as easy. You just make a mini card in the same way, and so it makes a little Z as well. And then this goes just on here, so as you open it, it's that Z there, look. So two Zs together. And it really is a quick and easy card once you know where to cut and where to score. And if you hop on over to my blog at craftsbythebow.blogspot.com, you'll find all the measurements, the paper, which stamp sets I've used, all the information I always leave on there. Now, talking about my blog, a lady asked me last week why it was called Crafts by the Bow, and she wondered if the bow was something to do with ribbon tying. Well, no, it's not to do with ribbon tying in this name. I actually live across the road from the Bow River here in Cochrane. And so it's just a little nod to the fact that I live on the river and I do my crafts by the river. So that's why it's Crafts by the Bow. But thank you for asking, it was a really good question. Okay, so we've got our card already folded. As I said, it's just half a sheet of card, scored and folded in half, and the top piece is scored and folded in half again. And then I've got a smaller piece of card, which was actually 3 inches by 9 inches, and I just scored it at 3 and 6 and done the same. I folded it so that it makes that Z. Really quick and easy. Now I'm going to start with putting my DSP on, and I'm going to do my decoration last. So these are my 2 pieces of paper, and I've chosen from the Poppy suite, and I chose this piece, and that's why I got the backing to be the pool party, because I wanted to use this piece and I didn't want to use any of the bright colours and have 2 sets of bright colours. I wanted something that toned in nicely for the main card, and so I got this piece which has the pool party and white stripes and this sort of watercolour effect. Let me get the big piece so you can see. You see how it, it looks like you've dropped water on it, and some of it's a little bit weathered and some of it's darker and lighter. And I really like that effect on this paper. And even if you cut a small piece, you can see that you have got that effect going on. So this is for here. I'm just going to attach it. I'm actually just going to attach it with snail. And I had a class a couple of weeks ago and I was showing some of my ladies how to use snail, and really I don't always use it properly. Often I just go straight down in a line, but what you're meant to do is just do little pieces like this and do a tick mark. But I get a bit lazy and I tend to just do one line. So I tried really hard there. Ladies from my class, just watch, I tried really hard and didn't do one line. It was more of do as I say, not as I do last week, but I'm trying hard now. So there we are, that's that stuck on. And then this little piece is for this front panel, and then when it's closed, they're the 2 pieces of DSP you will see. You won't see this because it's going to be hidden by the other little Z fold. But if you did want to put a piece of paper on there, and make it so that if you held the card like this, you could see, you're more than welcome. It would be exactly the same size as this piece. And this just leaves a nice little border, look, all the way around. Okay. So that's our main card decorated. Nothing else is going on there because all the work is going to be on our little Z fold. So what I've done, I've cut couple of little squares of just Whisper White card, and I've actually cut it on thick card because I happen to have a 3-inch strip left from a different project. Now, it doesn't have to be on the thick card at all, it can be just on the basic Whisper White. And the basic Whisper White is perfect for stamping on. It's got a lovely smooth surface and it stamps really well. So let's see. Oh, I also have a scrap piece, and this is the thinner Whisper White. This is just a scrap piece that I have that I'm going to stamp one of the poppies, this big poppy here. I'm just going to stamp it in basic black ink, which is our Memento black. Doesn't matter which way around you stamp because we're going to cut it out. Let's just stamp that up again. Didn't like how that's stamped. That's better. Let's put the lid on that. I'm just going to wipe that stamp down on my very, very dirty chamois. Oh, and now I've smudged it. So I'm going to do that again. This time I won't put a box on top of it. I'm going to move it out of the way until it dries while I clean my stamp. Okay, and then I'm going to take this splotchy stamp, and it doesn't fit exactly onto the poppy. It's one of those where there'll be little bits where it overhangs and little bits where you get just the white card showing, and that's actually the look that I like for it. And I've got my Poppy Parade ink, and I don't have a favourite way of holding the stamp on there. It's just however you want. I'm actually just going to go straight down with it. There. You can see what I mean about it overlaps. So it goes over the edges and leaves some white pieces. But that's exactly what it's meant to do. So don't worry if that happens. Okay, and then I'm going to quickly just fussy cut this out. It doesn't have to be terribly precise. I'm leaving a little border around. I'm going to cut that off because I don't need these pieces. Let's get that out of the way. So yeah, I'm just going to leave a little border. So some of the border will be white and some of it will have the Poppy Parade ink on, but that's just fine. And I know today I haven't shown you the finished product. So that's because I haven't got a finished one. I started to make this and I had already done my little poppy and a couple of other bits, and then I thought, no, I'll stop and I'll video it while I'm making it. So let's trim that up. There we are. So here's our poppy. And then these are the two white squares that we have, and I'm going to use Old Olive as my green because that's one of the greens that's on here. This has Old Olive and Mossy Meadow, but I'm going to stamp a little bit in Old Olive, and I'm just going to get a little piece of scrap paper. Let's put it on here. And I've got the longer stamp of the leaves, the one with a few leaves on. And it's already on my block. And then all I'm going to do, I want to have one full leaf, and I'm going to make this here at the top corner. And then I'm just going to have a few little bits showing. Not any kind of pattern. I just want a few little bits like that. And then on my second piece, I just want them to be sort of at the top and the bottom, not all over. I'm just going to put a little bit there. But I want to leave some of it white, and I'm actually going to stamp another one just in case I need it for something else. So let me just keep that to one side. There. And I've left a bit more white space on there. And I'll show you what that's for in a minute. Oh, while I've got that out, I'm going to stamp on my envelope. So let me get that green back. And I'm only going to put leaves on my envelope. I'm not going to put paper on. Like I sometimes put the DSP, as you know, but I'm not going to do that this time because I want to put this in the mail and I don't want it to be too thick because otherwise I'd have to pay extra postage on it because I want to send it to the UK. And you don't need very much depth for it to suddenly jump up in postage. So I'm just going to leave that like that. And then I've got my light old olive, my light old olive blend, and I'm going to very roughly colour in. I'm not going to, worry about getting right up to the edges or doing lots of shading because it is only going to be just sort of a representation of the leaves. I don't need it to be all that realistic. So I'll just quickly colour these in. This sort of colouring is the exact opposite to what we were all taught at school about not going over the lines and colouring in all of the white, and this isn't like this at all. And neither should it be. You don't always have to colour in the lines. Okay, and I'm going to do the same on these little extra pieces. If you didn't want to colour with blends, you could use watercolour pencils, or you could use an aqua painter and the ink pad. You certainly don't have to have all the blends in all the colours as well. What I like painting with as well is our Wink of Stella pen. If you just use that dry, sort of shake it up so that you've got Wink of Stella on the nib or on the brush end, and then just put it onto the ink pad and just take a little bit of the coloured ink as you go, then it gives you a sparkly look because some of that Wink of Stella is in the ink then. Just make sure before you put your ink pad away that you just wipe where you've used the Ink of Stella, else the next time when you stamp you get little bits of glitter, but it's not everywhere. It's just on a little portion of your stamping. There we go. Oh, might as well do this little thing as well. And on the envelopes, the green will go through to the next, to the layer underneath, but that doesn't matter because it doesn't go through to the back layer. It will be on the inside, and if anybody wants to open an envelope and look on the inside, they're very welcome to, but I don't think most people will see it. It just soak in just a little bit. Okay, so that's all of our colouring done. Let's put that pen away. There. And we don't need that scrap anymore. So what we do need are these three pieces. And I'm going to need some dimensionals. I don't need scissors anymore. Don't think I need anything anymore. Nope, nope. Just my little card. Now, this little card is going to fit just here. And I normally only make a piece for this side and a piece for here. But why I made that extra piece was just in case you wanted to put the piece here and then you have this little piece here for writing on. So I will do it on this card, but usually I only put 2 on. Okay, so I'm just going to add this. Oh, look, you see, I did that one long line. I'm trying to do just little pieces. There we go. Crazy raspberry, don't watch. Okay. So there we go. And then this little piece, let's put it in the middle. Oh, I need to have a sign on my desk saying just to do little pieces. Let's see which way we're going to put this. I think we'll have it that way. And then this piece that we're going to write on, which way would I get most writing? I think that way. And that gives me enough room for a little sentiment here. If you thought you needed a bit more, you could always put the person's name on here, and the sentiment here, and then your name. That would work as well. Okay. I'm going to attach this, but I'm going to use liquid glue. And that way, if I don't have it quite straight, it doesn't matter. So I'm going to put, this is how it folds, I'm going to put glue on the whole of the back here. Just scribble, you don't need too much glue. Okay. I'm going to sort of have it just folding down. I haven't stuck that back piece on yet, but I'm just going to try and line it up here from the front. And then when I think it's straight and where I want it, then I'm going to press it down. And let's have a look. If it's not quite straight, I'm not quite sure that is quite straight. I'm just going to turn it a tiny bit. Now, it might have been straight, it might just be my eyes. Okay, and then I'm going to glue this piece down. And you don't need glue all along because, look, it only covers up about half the width of this. So I'm just going to put a little bit on. There we go. And then when the recipient opens it, it will open as a Z fold. Now, the only other piece I'm going to put on for now is my poppy. And remember, I had this one leaf that I said I want the whole of the leaf at the right-hand side. And that's because I want to put my poppy on here. I don't know which way around I'm going to put it yet. But I wanted it to look as though the leaf was behind this poppy. I'm just going to put a couple of dimensionals on. I might put 3. There we go. Let's take these off. But I haven't chosen a sentiment to put on. Now what you could do is you could put your sentiment on here. You could stamp a sentiment there. But at the moment, I don't know what I want to use this card for or who it's for. Let's see which way I want that. I'm going to put it that way. I don't know who it's going to be for. So I don't want to have it with a happy birthday or a get well soon in case I want it for something else. And what I will do when I want a sentiment is I might stamp on here my sentiment. I might just write and put no sentiment on at all. But if you wanted to put a sentiment on, you could punch a sentiment and put it on the bottom here or up at the top or even down here. So you can fit a sentiment on. It's just sometimes I like to have blank cards so that if I want to send a card and just say, well done about something, sorry to hear you're going through a tough time, then I can just look in my stash and see which one sort of fits the person and the occasion. But there we are. I should have it that way so you can see it's a Z. But that's a double Z fold, really easily made. Once you know the sizings, it comes together really quickly. And if you go over to my blog, all the sizes and the measurements will actually be on there. Thank you so much for watching me, everybody, and I hope to see you all again very soon. Take care. Bye-bye.